Joey Diaz, are you there, my man? Ooh, better. Joey, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, let's see if this is better. Where are you doing this from? A cave over there in California? What's going on?
No, my house. It's my house. I don't know what the hell's going on with the Wi-Fi.
It's all good, my man. Well, I appreciate you were saying something. You were showering me with praise, so I didn't want to miss that.
I said that I love what you do, that you've been doing this since day one on your own, and you had a lot of naysayers, and you kept going, and you're the best in the business. I watch your show whenever I can.
Well, I appreciate that, and I know you've had my back as well, so that means a lot coming from you, Joey. When did you first fall in love with MMA? We see you talking about it all the time, but what first drew you to the sport?
Anderson Silva, Chris Levin.
Really? Why that one?
It just happened to come on as I was watching TV, and I never saw anything like that before in my life, and I dug into it, and now I love it.
Was this before you were friends with Joe or after?
Oh, I was friends with him for 10 years, and I would hear about this nonsense. I grew up on Bruce Lee and karate schools. I knew nothing about jiu-jitsu or nothing, so him, Eddie, they'd be talking, and I'm like, whatever. And, because I saw, like, the first couple fights, and the guys looked like me. Like, they were big and out of shape, and I thought it was barroom brawling, but then once I saw Anderson and I started watching other fights, I became in love like everybody else does.
And I've seen the clips, I've seen the gifs of you in the karate gi. Is that legit? Like, did you really practice karate back in the day?
From 7 to 16, and from 25 till about 30.
Okay. Why did you stop at 30?
Now because I got into drugs and comedy. So,
fair enough. And have you ever go ahead?
Now I go to Muay Thai twice a week. I'm 56. I lift, and I try to get a roll in once a week on the Lord's Day.
Wow. So you're very active.
So yeah, I got a 6-year-old brother. I got to be on top of it.
Wow, you have a 6-year-old. Is that your only child?
That's all you need is one. Look at the budget.
I like it. So you had a kid at 50 years old? Well done.
Yeah. Some guys fire their wives and hook up the receptionist and get a Corvette. Not me. After 13 years, I knocked my wife up.
Okay. And do you let your son, watch your comedy stuff and listen to your podcast, or not quite yet?
No, my daughter is by the book.
Excuse me.
No cursing in the house. No alcohol in the house. She goes to Muay Thai. I wanted to have a different childhood that I had in New York City, running around like a savage. So we're out here in California. Everything's very nice, no drama, and I like it that way.
Wait, so you say no cursing at the house? I mean, you're sort of infamous for your cursing. It's just sort of second. Every third word on your show is a curse word. But at home, nothing.
Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing, because it's irrevocable. Whatever that word is, irreversible. I learned how to curse at my mother's bar when I was her age, And then being an immigrant, when you come here, white kids don't show you the right words. They show you curse words first, and then they show you the George Washington and Abe Lincoln. But usually they teach you curse words, so it stuck, and here I am 56 years later.
And so is this how you know so much? I've heard you talk about the immigrant mentality. This is where you learned it from.
Absolutely. It's immigrant mentality is like this, you have to be better. Your parents raise you to be, you have to be better than the white kids. And at the same time, with this pressure at the house, you have this insecurity. You don't know the language. People are looking at you weird, So that's the immigrant mentality,
I have to say, my favorite clip of yours, like I watch it time and again just to put myself in a good mood, is you and Joe watching Eddie Alvarez against RDA. That to me is the all-time great. That's the best one by far. That moment of you just getting all fired up and talking about Philadelphia, where's Conor McGregor now? I mean, that was just incredible. That passion, that excitement. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
I love it.
Isn't it amazing?
I love it. and I love the direction the UFC is going back to again. We've had a couple good cards, the last couple cards, no drama, great sportsmanship, and I applaud Dana for November 2nd for the BMF belt. I think it's a great idea. It's going to be a great fight, and it's a fight for the fans. Finally, it's not about pay-per-views, and it's not about throwing things at buses. If you're a fan of MMA, you're going to watch this. So I'm very excited about this fight coming up.
I feel like you really don't like Conor. You bring him up, you can just subtly. Why don't you like this man?
I love Conor McGregor. I love Conor McGregor. I love his range. I love his personality. Irish and Cuban are very close. We got close during the Battle of the Boyne in the 1600s. There was a war, and all the Irish went to Cuba because it was a Catholic country. My wife is Irish. I love everything about Conor McGregor. I think that when he got into the game, it changed it a little bit too much. And now we're back to leverage. I think him and Rousey threw us off for a bit, but now we're back on even ground again. And I hope Conor comes back, and there's some great fights waiting for Conor. So, no, I have nothing against Conor. I just didn't like the antics that were going on for a long time, but now we're back to normal.
You know, it's interesting when you go back and watch that clip of you reacting to Eddie's win over RDA. I don't know if you remember this, but you say, like, where's Conor McGregor now? And you kind of predicted that if he ran into Eddie, he would get smoked. Of course, we know what happened. So that it's kind of crazy to watch that clip several years later. That must have been shocking to you. You seemed very convinced that Eddie would just steamroll him.
I thought either Eddie or whatever would steamroll him, but like I said, when you fight Conor, it's half physical and so much mental.
Yeah.
When you go into the octagon with Conor, your headspace has to be in a really good place. You can't get intimidated. You can't let the hype get in there. And I think that's what happened to Eddie. I think that's what happened to a lot of his early fighters. They let Conor masterfully, because that's what Conor does the best, is get into your head. But that could work with you or against you. In my neighborhood, that's called pissing on your leg. That works with you most of the time, but then on the other end, it works against you sometimes. But no, Conor's a great fighter, and I love what he's done for the UFC. But there's been moments. We've all had our moments. I love John Jones.
Yeah.
I hate what's happened with him, but I'm a tremendous fan of John Jones and a dear friend. So
you're a dear friend of John Jones?
I love him with all my heart. He comes when I go to New Mexico, he comes to the shows. I knew him before he had the title. I used to call him Fear of a Black Planet, like Public Enemy.
And so you guys hang out.
John Jones, when you see John Jones, just call him Fear of a Black Planet. That's John Jones.
Okay. So you guys just chill out together?
No, I've never chilled out with him. I've seen him after fights.
Okay.
And spoken with him. And then I went to the club in Albuquerque last year, and he showed up on Friday night looking tremendous. And we spoke, and I gave him a hug, and he's a gentleman and a sweet. I've also gone down to Jackson's camp and said hello. So my next venture is AT&T to say hello.
Okay.
You know.
Well, of course, we know at ATT there's a very proud Cuban fighter there. You are of Cuban descent. What is it like for you to see what has become of Jorge Masvidal? This guy has exploded. All of a sudden, going into this year, I mean, he was just a good fighter. The hardcores knew him. Now he's a mainstream star. Everyone loves him. Cuban Jesus. He's got the beard. He's got the Scarface outfit. What do you make of what's happened to Jorge?
Jorge's coming to his own. He's the prime. A man's prime is between 26 and 32, and somewhere along that route, you find yourself as a man and as a fighter. And when they both meet, or whatever you are, as an announcer, a comic, at that point, it met. And George is a different person, and he makes me very proud. I was a fan of George 15 years ago because of his cornermen. His cornermen would be yelling in Spanish, métele un galletazo. That means smack him in the face. And I would sit there at home howling, saying to myself, you can't smack people in the face. It's the UFC. But that's the mentality of the Cuban. He would say, métele un galletazo, oye, métele un galletazo, ahí, tócalo. You know, touch him means to, when you say tócalo, that means to touch somebody. And that's what his corner would say to him. And I'd be laughing. Nobody else would catch it. And that's how I reached out to him in Kawa, and we became friends from there.
And would it be safe to say or safe to assume that you're rooting for him on November 2nd? I know you like Nathan Diaz as well.
Now I got a big problem here.
Oh.
I mean, on the boat from Spain,
Yep.
my cousins decided to jump off in Cuba, but Nick Diaz's family said, we're going to go a little farther. And they went to Mexico, and then they shot up to wherever they're from, 909 up there. So Nate Diaz is the man. I bet on Nate Diaz against Conor the first time just because of his jiu-jitsu skills, and I know what it takes to be a jiu-jitsu black belt. And I fall in love with him. I've never, ever met Nate. Never met Nate in my life. I was very proud to see that he had no ring rust against Pettis. He looked great. And I think, like I said, this to me is the best fight the last 5 years because it's for the fans.
Mm.
It's not about pay-per-view. It's not about throwing bottles. It's just about the fans. And they're both acting like gentlemen. I saw pictures of Nate out at 182 afterward. And this fight, as a friend and as a gambler, I'm not going to bet it. I'm just going to sit, watch, and enjoy it like every other UFC fan.
Do you bet on a lot of fights?
I bet on the ones I know I could win.
Okay. All right. When's
I'm
the last time you won big?
6-1. The biggest one was Nate. I had Frankie against years ago against one of the guys when he fought the 3 times.
Gray Maynard.
I bet him Ray Maynard.
Yep.
I bet him the second fight or something. I took my wife. Joe gave us tickets. And when was the last time I put one in? I don't remember.
Okay.
But I usually don't bet the main bout because everybody's focused on the main one and nobody's Houdini. Nobody has a crystal ball. And there's usually a good fight in the prelims or in the undercard that you could make some money on. So if there's something I really like, I go after it. But I'm such a fan that I wouldn't want to ruin it for myself like I did. When I was a kid, I'd bet football, and I ruined it for myself. With the UFC, I want to watch it as a fan, so I'd rather not lay money on it, you know?
Yeah. And you mentioned the fight, you love it, the BMF title. Is there a part of you, are you like an old school guy where you're like, yeah, they're making a fake title here. This is kind of a little bit WWE like. Does that bother you, or you're all in on this? You love it?
Not at all. This is not WWE. I think this is brilliant for the sport. I think every once in a while, 2 guys, it doesn't mean anything about the standings. Let's just get 2 guys that want to battle it out. I mean, I don't want to see Cejudo beat up the Russian chick or her beat him up. Nobody wants to see that.
Right.
But I wouldn't mind seeing a couple different, let's take a chance. Columbus did. Maybe Stipe drop down to 2-something and John Jones go up a little bit and it doesn't mean nothing to your rankings. I would like to mix that up a little bit.
Yeah. You love Stipe, huh? You call him Stiopic.
Stiopic. I love Stipe. I love Frankie Edgar. I love Cowboy. I could see that the next fight for McGregor, the easy option for the UFC would be either, somebody like Cowboy, who's had a 2-fight losing skid, and he looks like an easy prey, or Frankie Edgar. But both of those guys got a good fight left in them. Both of those guys are, when you fight Conor McGregor, you rise for Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
And either you get knocked out because Conor will touch you with that left, or you could take it into 5 rounds or something. But I'm also excited for Conor's next move because it's either got to be Dustin, El Kukui, Justin, or just think of that 155.
Yeah.
The 155 division is like the NFC East in the old days. You had the Skins, you had the Eagles, and you had the Giants and the Cowboys, and you prayed somebody didn't pull out a gun. Like you prayed that somebody didn't pull out a gun. Like, where's John Riggins? He might pull out a gun. Like, this is what 155 has become. Justin Gaethje's exciting. We're waiting to see what Kukui's going to do. You know, Dustin Poirier. Whoever Dustin Poirier fights next, expect brain damage. You understand me? Expect to carry around a ball and learn sign language. I feel bad for whoever fights Dustin Poirier next.
I love this.
So I'm very excited for the 155 division. You know, I think John Jones is cemented at 205. Stipe's back. Will I like to see him and Daniel? Maybe, maybe not.
Oh,
maybe not. I'm a big fan of Daniels, and I'm a big fan of Stipe, so maybe not. 185, I'm excited for my man Whitaker when he comes back. So the UFC is exciting again. I'm excited. I'm ready to rock.
what do you prefer?
Even though I had to pay for ESPN 5, I like it. I'm in. I don't care.
You're in. All right. We appreciate your business. Thank you.
Thank you.
It has to be El Kukui against Khabib, though, right? None of this other stuff. It has to be Ferguson Khabib next, right?
Well, listen, they're giving me. I want to see, like every other fan, Khabib against Kukui.
Yes.
That's the obvious choice. GSP's raising his hand. I hear rumors about GSP. That again, that is, let's do a BMF belt there. Let's give that a title. If nobody wants to see that, yeah, we want to see Kukui against Khabib. But Kukui's a fighter. I'm a comic. I don't make no money sitting at home cracking jokes in the mirror.
Right.
So Kukui's got to fight somebody. He's a fighter. He's doing push-ups. Kukui's doing push-ups as we speak. You know? So the 155 division, if you're a fan of the UFC, is as good as it gets. You know?
By the way, what did you make of Masvidal's outfit at the press conference? Did you see that Tony Montana outfit that he was sporting?
Listen, man, he's like Al Pacino in Carlito's Way. In the beginning, when he said, I'm rejuvenated, I'm affinated, I'm caffeinated. He's back.
He's on fire these days. Then he shows up in Mexico with the sombrero and the bullets. Did you see that as well? The guy is just oozing machismo right now.
Yes, and him and Nate are doing a great job. Look at them, gentlemen. Nobody's saying nothing to each other. They're having a good time. You do your best fighting when you're happy, when you're smiling. That's what I love about El Kukui. He's in there doing the mambo and the Macarena. You know, this is happy UFC again. You know, I don't have to clench my fist anymore when I'm watching them sweating. So I'm very excited about the next couple of months to see what happens. But do I want to see GSP Khabib? I watch it, but we all rather see Khabib and Kukui and get this over with.
Who's your favorite fighter of all time?
My favorite fighter of all time, the guy that I cried when I saw him get knocked out a couple times, was Chuck Liddell.
Oh, wow.
I don't like to see. I don't like to see. I love Anderson so much. I don't like to see him fight live. When my friends fight live, I cannot go to the fight. Because if you think what happened at the Khabib fight was bad, I will throw chairs. I will go in there. I'll get a heart attack right in that octagon if one of my friends. You know, I can't do it when I'm, attached to somebody like that. I don't want to go to their fights. I don't want to go. I'd rather see it on TV because if he does get hit, my New York City, Cuban, Jersey, Santeria. Next thing you know, I'm flying in the octagon. I got one fat leg trying to climb over. The dude is trying to push me back. I can't go see my friends fight. So,
by the way, can I ask, why do they call you Mad Flavor?
Because I'm Mad Flavor. That's the name Biggie Smalls gave me.
Did he really give you that?
No, but I got to say something from time to time that's not true.
Amazing. How much do you enjoy podcasting? You love it. You seem like you have a great time. Your one with Action Bronson was a great one of my favorites. We had him on the show last week as well. I love hearing you
He's
guys talk
great.
about food.
Yes. No, I love podcasting. I love what it's become. I don't love that they can hold things against you that you say on there, because it's not, I'm not being judged. I'm not being, I'm not on the network. That's why I do the podcast, because I enjoy being free on it. And you can talk about whatever, and But besides that, I love podcasting. It keeps it keeps your heart out there. It's like riding the subway in New York. It keeps you in tune with what's really going on, So
That's right.
I love it.
You could talk to the people, and so you're doing that. You're doing it quite often. Any comedy specials coming up? Any movies coming up? Where can people see more of you?
You know what, man? When it comes to comedy specials, I'm no good. I'm no good on tape. I'm better live. I'm a savage when I'm live. And I got the podcast. I've been working on a one-man show at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. I'm in Chicago this weekend at the Chicago Theater, Friday night. So I'm always busy. I'm always doing something. Plus, I got the 6-year-old. I got a PTA meeting Wednesday night. All that type of stuff.
You show up to those things? Do people know what you do in your day job?
I live in a very gluten-free community over here.
Okay.
They look at me and they think I'm John Gotti's nephew, so they don't say much to me. I go prepared to these things when I go. Some parents speak to me. Some parents look at me, but I don't care. I go there for my daughter. I'm trying to raise a daughter, so it doesn't matter what they think.
Coincidentally, John Gotti's nephew, John Gotti III, is a pro fighter. Did you know that?
Yes, he's doing quite well.
He is. Yeah, he's undefeated. He's good. So that just made me think of that.
Yeah, who would throw a punch against him?
No,
I'll just go in there. He breathes on me. I'm going down because I'm getting beat up one way or another, either today or mañana. You know what I'm saying?
By the way, when I was talking to Action, he told me like when he's performing, he's in the back watching the fights. He's doing everything, like he surrounds everything around. Like the fights are the thing, and then he works around it. Do you do the same? Like when you're out on the road and there's a big fight, are you watching them as well backstage in your dressing room, all that stuff?
I try everything I can. With my luck, I always get booked, and then the big fight comes on that date. Obviously, I have a family out there that I want to go see on the road, so I can't cancel. So I'll do anything I can to watch the fight at the club. I'll call a week before, and I'll pay for it myself. I'll do whatever I can. And there's always a dishwasher or waiter or somebody at the event that's a fan like myself, and we'll watch them together. I don't like watching a fight after it's on Twitter.
Right. Yeah, no, because you know what happened.
I can't do it.
It's a waste.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Well, Joey, I got to say, this has been a huge honor for me. I know you're very much in demand, and you speak with such passion, and I think you represent the fan when you speak about the sport and the fights, and your excitement is contagious. It's really just a lot of fun to see you react to it, and to talk about it in your podcast is very entertaining. I mean, I was really blown away. I know you're very famous. I know you're very popular, but to see all these fans so excited, for you to be on the program really warmed my heart. So thank you so much for doing this, and hopefully we could do it again soon. I wish you nothing but the best to you and your family. Keep doing your thing, my man, and continued success to you.
You and your family, and send Cheo my love.
Hello, everyone. It's Ariel Helwani. I just came here to thank you for watching our ESPN YouTube channel. It's the best. You know what else is the best? The ESPN app. You can get highlights, analysis, all that stuff and more. And if you want premium content and live streaming sports, there's only one place for all of that. It's ESPN Plus.